deliberations today shall take place in the spirit of mutual trust, so that we as leaders shall lead our country on the path of peace and shall find solutions for issues and problems facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor thy name in all we think, do, and say. Almighty God, we pray thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Affirmation. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Thank you. Are there any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Reports of standing or select committee? Other reports and papers? Notices of questions? Notices of motions? Yeah, okay. Okay, Honorable Member, you have the floor. Honorable Eiko.
Thank you very much, Speaker.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, you are doing very well.
Thank you, thank
with
you.
the pronouncement.
Thank you.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 26 June 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Defence and Veterans Affairs, Honorable Franz Kapofi, on the 66-hectare land deal involving the Otjiwarongo municipality. It has become increasingly evident that certain line ministries under the current administration are undermining and frustrating the constitutional mandate and financial operations of the local authorities. This continued practice has a negative impact on service delivery and the well-being of our citizens, prompting the need to investigate other line ministries that equally frustrate regional and local governance. For purposes of illustration, Speaker, let me highlight the case of Otjiwarongo municipality. During the 2008 financial year, the Otjiwarongo municipality and the Namibian Defence Force entered into a land sale agreement for a portion of land measuring 66 hectares, valued at 13.2 million. To date, the NDF has failed to honor payment obligations under the agreement with the municipality. Like many other local authorities, the Otjiwarongo municipality depends heavily on utility charges, sales to fund capital infrastructure maintenance projects. It is therefore troubling that a key government line ministry, which remains a regular beneficiary of the national budget appropriation, is failing to meet its legal and financial commitments to another arm of government. In light of the above, I would like to ask the following questions. Is the Minister aware that this long outstanding debt is frustrating and or sabotaging the local development agenda? If so, why is the Minister failing to take remedial action for over a decade? Number two, when does the Ministry plan to honor the 13.2 million payment or enter into a formal repayment agreement with the Otjiwarongo municipality? What steps does the Minister intend to take to improve inter-ministerial cooperation, and how will the Minister ensure that such matters are resolved in a timely and a constructive manner in the future? I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
Are there any further questions? Okay. Notices of motions? Any ministerial statements? Notices of what? Motions? Okay. Honorable Ampanda first, followed by Honorable Kambala.
Thank you, Speaker. Although tomorrow is not promised to anyone, it always belongs to those preparing for it today. As they say, failure to plan is indeed planning to fail. The developmental stage requires imaginative minds and meticulous preparation for the future of our children. In analyzing countries that have developed in recent history, including the developing world, these are those who sat down and actually engaged in design and planning of the future. The idea of urban design and urbanization planning has not been our biggest strength. For 35 years, we have not created our own city with our own imagination and our own ingenuity. Stated differently, as a free people, we are not counted among those creators of any city in post-colonial Namibia. This is embarrassing and cannot continue. In this connection, I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 2nd of July 2025, I shall move that this Assembly discusses. I'll take that again while the phone is being fixed.
Honorable.
In this connection, I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 2nd July 2025, I shall move that this Assembly discusses, this Assembly resolves, and this Assembly gives direction on the creation of a first city of our country at Cape Freya in the Kunene region. I hereby give notice that this Assembly considers and characterizes this as a special planned city and a special program of the National Assembly of the Republic of Namibia. That this motion be referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee of Honorable Dingara as chairperson, the Standing Committee on Urban and Rural Development for further deliberation and report back to the Assembly, inclusive of study visitation to successfully planned cities. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. Can the honorable member table the motion? Okay. I now recognize Honorable Kambala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, 2nd of July 2025, I shall move the following. Civic education empowers citizens to understand their roles in the political and governance processes, enabling them to participate effectively, efficiently, and influence positive change and contribute to society. Now, recognizing the vital role of an informed, responsible, and active citizenry in sustaining Namibia's democracy and constitutional values, noting with concern the growing gap in civic knowledge amongst young people, including limited awareness of national governance structures, constitutional rights, responsibilities, voting procedures, and public participation. Acknowledging that civic education plays a crucial role in empowering learners to understand their rights and duties as citizens and to participate meaningfully in democracy and community life. I therefore move that this Assembly considers the inclusion of civic education in the national school curriculum as a standalone subject or integrated module at both primary and secondary school levels. That this motion be referred to the relevant Parliamentary Standing Committee for thorough investigation and to make the necessary recommendations to this House. I so move, Speaker.
Okay. Can the honorable member please table the motion? Okay, any ministerial statements? Reports from the Committee of the Whole Assembly and consequential proceedings. Then we go to the order of the day. Oh, questions, yeah. which is the question. Oh, we go to the questions first. The first question is one by Honorable Venani of the PDM, asked to the Minister of Finance. Both the Honorable Venani and the Minister of Finance are not here. So we proceed to the next one, which is by Honorable Venani still to the Minister of Works and Transport. Both Honorable Venani and the Minister of Transport are not here. The next one is again by the Honorable Venani to the same Minister of Works and Transport. Not here. Then the fifth question, still by Honorable Venani to the Minister of Transport. Then question number 10 is one by Honorable Fries, asked to the Minister of Information and Communication Technology. Is the Minister of Information here? No. Honorable Fries, the Minister is not here. Okay. Then the next one, question number 11, is by Honorable Mbinge Sheundo to the Minister of Works and Transport. The Minister is not here. Then question number 12 is by Honorable Venani to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Venani is not here, but I see that, okay. First, is there anyone delegated by Honorable Venani to put the question?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, so you put the question on his behalf?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, is Honorable Minister responsible for agriculture responding on behalf of the Prime Minister? Okay, you may please take the floor to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I have been duly delegated by the Right Honorable Prime Minister to read his response to these questions. Am I allowed to just read as is?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I rise in this august house to provide clarity on matters of national importance in response to the questions raised by Honorable McHenry Venani regarding the feasibility of constructing earth dams in flood-prone areas of our country. Allow me to begin by thanking the Honorable Member for his timely and pertinent inquiry. Since February this year, Namibia has been blessed with significant rainfall, and I am pleased to report that all other major dams are currently above 60% full. First, I wish to provide some context on the issue of the construction of earth dams in flood-prone areas. Namibia is home to key flood-prone regions, the Kuvelai-Etosha Basin and the Fish Okavango and Zambezi floodplains. I will briefly elaborate on each of these systems to underscore both the opportunities and limitations they present for water harvesting. Kuvelai-Etosha. The Kuvelai system, also known as the Lishana system, consists of a collection of inferior rivers, shallow pens, and wetlands, many of which join together and flow into the Etosha Pan following good rainy season. These systems originate in Angola from a delta and gradually converge into Etosha Pan. The local rainfall also made contribution to surface flow in the basin. The basin is composed of three major stream systems. The main Kuvelai in the center, where it forms an inland delta before it reaches Etosha Pan and other smaller pans. If one moves further to the west, there is much more defined Etaka Channel on which Oluchanja Dam has been constructed to store water from the Kaloeg Dam in Angola. Water is sometimes released in the channel for livestock drinking in areas further downstream. This channel joins the main Kuvelai system and the smaller lake of Oponono before it enters the Etosha. The eastern part of the basin has two major streams, Washigambo and Omuramba Owambo. The two don't join the main Kuvelai but end straight into Etosha Pen. The frequency of flows is erratic. Furthermore, the ephemeral nature and irregular occurrence of a funja, as well as large variation and distribution of local rainfall. The water in the Ishanas cannot effectively be considered as a reliable long-term water source for the Kuvelai. On average, the occurrence of flood and drought alternate every 5 to 7 years, and high evaporation rates further reduce the use of stored water, often leaving the dams dry. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, turning to the Fish River catchment, this area holds the highest potential for floodwater harvesting, and it is home to Namibia's three largest dams. The Nekatal Dam with 857 million cubic water, the Hardap with 295 million cubic meters, and the Naute, which contain 84 million cubic meters. These reservoirs provide substantial storage capacity and serve as crucial water resources for agriculture and domestic use. Furthermore, the Zambezi River, which originates in the highlands of Angola and Zambia, enters Namibia just northwest of Katima Mulilo. During flood events, water spills into the eastern floodplains, and although it eventually recedes, section of the floodplain can remain inundated for extended periods. These eastern Zambezi wetlands are vital to Namibia's food security and ecological diversity. The Kavango floodplains. The Kavango River flows through three countries, Angola, Namibia, and Botswana. The river rises in the Angolan highlands as to two major tributaries, the Kubango and the Quito. These two rivers make the confluence on the border with Namibia before crossing at Divundu and entering Botswana. Even when the Kavango River is in high floods, the water remains mainly in the main channel. Any harvest to such water means taking water from the mainstream to the areas where it is needed. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, although the virtual presence of floodwaters might suggest underutilization, significant efforts have been made to assess and address the feasibility of floodwater harvesting in these areas, particularly in the Kuvelai Basin. Several engineering studies, both historic and recent, have highlighted critical limitations, including the flood topography slope. The ground slope is a key limiting factor to water harvesting. Water harvesting is not recommended for areas where slopes are greater than 5% due to uneven distribution of runoff and large qualities of earthwork require, which is not economical. High evaporation rates. The large surface increase excessive evaporation as opposed to deep but small surface area dams. Number 3, variable climate. In most areas of the country, large floods occur every 5 to 7 years. Number 4, high population density. It remains an extremely risky practice to construct and erect large-scale dams amid such large population, which will be put at risk in case of dam failure. Number 5, the soil types. A serious limitation for the application of water harvesting are soils which are sandy texture. If the infiltration rate is higher than the rainfall intensity, no runoff will occur. And finally, cost. The quantities of structural and earth and stonework involved in the construction directly affect the cost of a scheme, or if it is implemented on a self-help basis, indicate how labor-intensive this construction could be. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, at this juncture, considering the above context, I will now respond to the question raised by Honorable Venani as follows. Question 1. Has an environmental impact assessment been conducted for the construction of earth dams in flood water-prone areas? And if so, what were the findings, especially in terms of ecosystem disruption and floodplain alteration? The answer is, the Water Resource Management Act number 11 of 2013 stipulates that no person may undertake any construction or activity that alters or is likely to alter the natural flow of water in, to, or from a watercourse, river, or a channel without prior written approval from the minister. The Act also mandates that dams posing a safety risk must be registered and categorized accordingly. It is therefore crucial for all individuals or entities intending to construct dams for private use to first seek approval from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery, Water and Land Reform. This includes submitting detailed dam design information to assess potential safety risk associated with the proposed structure. Dams are classified into categories based on their wall height, with specific technical requirements that must be met before construction can proceed. Category 1 includes small earth dams with embankments or walls up to 12 meters high. Category 3 refers to medium-sized dams with walls over 12 meters but less than 30 meters. Category 3 comprises large dams with embankments exceeding 30 meters in height. An example of this is the Neckartal Dam, which falls in Category 3 due to its considerable wall height. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, honorable members,
She's answering.
although construction of earth dam is a listed activity in the Environmental Management Act of 2007, no specific environmental assessment has been conducted for most of the earth dams in floodwater-prone areas. Several investigations have been carried out which provided information on the feasibility and the impact of floodwater harvesting on the environment. All earth dams constructed by the ministries have complied with the legal requirements relevant to their category. These include adherence to appropriate dam design standards and the implementation of environmental management plans to mitigate potential negative impacts. Question number 2, what is the envisaged timeline for the construction of earth dams, should there be any? The answer is the duration for the construction of earth dams varies depending on the size, structural formation, and geophysics. On average, the construction can take 1 to 3 months to complete. It is also important to note that an investigation was undertaken in 1991, and it concluded that due to the general flood nature of the terrain, the runoff potential to topographical conditions make the deployment of large dams in the Kuvelai Basin not feasible. Question number 3, what strategies are being implemented to balance the risk of flooding during the rainy season with the need for water storage in arid periods in a funja-prone area? And the answer is, the government through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery, Water and Land Reform is implementing flood and rainwater harvesting and irrigation development project. Under this project, the construction and rehabilitation of earth dams is done. This is with a view to ensure that during any rainy season, water is harvested and stored in these earth dams. This water is then used for animal drinking, small and medium-scale irrigation and aquaculture, specifically during the dry season. In addition to this, the ministry has a concept on floodwater harvesting and a draft strategy on integrated flood and drought management, which will address the flood risk and ensure water security at national level. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the first question was, what is the projected capacity of these dams in terms of water storage, and how does government ensure that the stored water is used efficiently and equitably, particularly for rural communities? And the answer is, from 2020 to date, the ministry has constructed 42 additional earth dams, 16 earth dams in Oshana region, 2 in Hardap, 3 in Oshikoto, and 10 in Ohangwena region, 2 in Karas, and 2 in Omusati, 3 in Kunene, and 4 in Kavango West region. The storage capacity of an earth dam ranges between 4.29 cubic meters to 21.600 cubic meters, averaging between 2 to 4.5 meter deep, 30 to 60 meter wide, and 50 to 100 meter in length. In the Kuvelai system, the depth of excavation is limited by the local saline water table, which is as shallow as 2 meters in some areas. With regard to efficient and equitable utilization of the stored water, there are community-based management guidelines which ensures that communities through various committees maintain, manage, and utilize the stored water sustainably. The second last question. In the light of the country's susceptibility to both drought and floods, what contingency plans are in place
when she's done
to ensure rapid response and adaptation should the earth dam face structural issues or overflow during extreme floods? It is important, the answer is, it is imperative to state that earth dams are designed to allow inflow of water and outflow when they are full. The earth dams are open on one side so that the water from the ishanas or pens can fill the excavations. However, to ensure prompt response and adaptation during extreme flood, the ministry conduct regular monitoring and report on flood levels, undertake regular inspections and maintenance of flood monitoring equipment, which I am said to inform this August House that they are always vandalized by community members. Earth dams are regularly rehabilitated to restore the structural integrity, and community awareness about flood risk is created through flood bulletin. The last question. What plans are in place to ensure that the construction of earth dams aligns with broader national water security and economic development goals, especially in rural, remote areas? The answer. The government, through the ministry responsible for water amongst others, is aware of the importance of water harvesting aimed at water and food security. As such, the government has a long-term strategy for the construction of earth dams across the country, which is part of the 6th National Development Plan. Additionally, the ministry has a standing project on the construction of earth dams, modernization of traditional wells, and pens for livestock drinking. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the construction of dams in flood-prone area is a matter that must be approached with careful scientific and environmental and socio-economic consideration. While there are undeniable opportunities for harvesting flood water to strengthen Namibia water security, particularly for rural communities and agricultural productivity, we must remain mindful of the regional specific limitations, risk, and long-term sustainability. The government remains committed to developing appropriate infrastructure solutions guided by technical skills, environmental safeguards, and community engagement, all of which within the broader framework of our national development plans. I wish to assure this August House that we will continue working tirelessly to strengthen flood and drought resilience while ensuring equitable access to water for our people. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as government, we are committed to water harvesting initiatives. In particular, for this financial year, we intend to finalize the delayed feasibility study for Mpungu, Nzinze, Ngaute, Donga, Lenela, Dreyhoek, and Washirambo channels, working together with the National Youth Service and TVET trainees alongside Road Authority, Road Construction Company, Defense Regiment, amongst other government entities. Our approach is pragmatic and our focus remains the interests of the people and the country. I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Minister. Since the member who posed the question is not here, according to the rules, an opportunity is given to a member who moved the motion to pose follow-up questions. But in a situation where the member is not there, it will not be possible for other members to pose follow-up questions on behalf of the other member. That's one. Two, and the next person is going to be Honorable Nashinge. You see, honorable members, we have these rules that we have adopted, and the presiding officer tries by all means to impose the rules. But often the members do not appreciate why these rules are being applied strictly. Now, when the situation that we are having now is, according to Rule 85, Sub 1, a mover of a question must move their question in 3 minutes. But you have people taking up to 15 minutes posing a question that covers 3 pages. When the presiding officer tried to say, honorable member, can you come to the question? The member wants to act like they are being censored. Now, when you pose a question that is 2 pages, how long do you think that the member who is going to respond is going to take? Because according to the rules, the member in answer of a question is supposed to be 3 minutes. No, I will give you the floor. I don't know what you are going to say. I just want to explain this rule. To say the rule, no, just take your seat. I will give you the floor. I'm just saying, according to our rules that are adopted, the answer must take longer than the question. And the question, according to our rule, must be posed in 3 minutes. And then the answer must be provided in 5 minutes. Now, if the question was posed in 10 minutes, how do you expect the person who is responding to answer in 5 minutes? So I just want to say to both the members that are asking questions and the members that are answering questions that we must comply with Rule 85, Sub 1. Then point number 2, when a member has asked a question and a question has been responded to, they may pose a follow-up question in 2 minutes. 2, not a speech of 7 minutes. And 4, that follow-up question must be related to the answer that is provided. So if the member comes here and talks about telecom, appointment of a CEO of telecom or appointment of the board of telecom, you cannot ask about the tariffs and all other things because they are not related to the question that was posed. And this is what happens in this House. So having said that, I give the floor to Honorable Nashinge.
Thank you, Speaker. You now have preempted
I have helped you.
The point that I wanted to raise, but I just wanted to understand now because I'm on Rule 92, Sub 5, 8. Now, the time is for the member to answer is 3 minutes.
Yes.
I mean 5 minutes. But now we have gone up to probably 30 minutes.
Yes.
We have the rules that we have established for ourselves. We are breaking them. So what are you saying now? What should be the way forward? Because
very good.
The one that answered the question knows very well that your time is 5 minutes. Yet you go beyond that. So what if I had the speaker well, I don't know what side you are, if you want to defend the one that was answering the questions, or to stick to the rules.
Okay, I will respond.
So perhaps we must start looking into if the 5 minutes make sense. And perhaps moving to amending that. Otherwise, it's not right that we are violating the rules that we have set for ourselves. That's the point I wanted to raise.
Yes, thank you. I will now answer you, Honorable Nashinge. The rules must be complied with. And the presiding officer can exercise flexibility when that is required. If an honorable member poses a question, it will not be in the public interest for the presiding officer to stop a member from answering a question that is posed, especially considering the fact that when that question was posed, the rule that limits the time was also not complied with. So what is the way forward? As I have indicated in my ruling, we will strictly enforce this rule that says a question must be posed in 3 minutes. A response must be provided in 5 minutes until we have changed these rules, if we find it appropriate. So that is the ruling. Okay? Now, having said that, we will now proceed to the next question. Now, the next question is one by Honorable Professor Ampanda. Yes, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to ask for the Minister to provide us with a hard copy of the reply.
Okay.
That is all that I wanted to
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Your request is noted. Honorable Minister, can you please provide the copy?
All right,
okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Now the next question is question number 15 by Honorable Ampanda, posed to the Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs. Does the Honorable Ampanda pose the question?
Speaker, I wanted to help you. It was actually 85.3. If you look at 85.3, is what you were answering. So I wanted to help you actually.
No, but I'm done already. I made the ruling there.
Yes.
So let's just go to question number 15.
I didn't say we're not done. Speaker, the Minister was here yesterday. He promised that he's going to answer. He's not here.
No, I just want you to indicate. I just indicate whether you put the question, and we will hear whether the Minister has delegated or not. Because now the question is to you, whether you put the question. Because the other day you were not here, and the members of your party were not delegated to put the question. So we want clarity as to whether the question is put today for answer.
If the Minister is coming, I will put the question.
No. Do you put the question, yes or no?
Who are you asking? I put the question, Speaker, yes.
Okay, thank you. Is the Deputy Minister delegated to respond to the question? No, that's not a choice of anyone except the presiding officer. Yeah, so is the Deputy Minister delegated to respond to the question?
Honorable Speaker, I am not only delegated, but I'm directed.
Very good.
With the direct response of the Minister.
You may now proceed to provide the answer, please. You may now proceed. Take the floor to answer the question.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am reading the response of my minister as delegated. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify the issues raised by Honorable Ampanda pertaining to illegal activities at the August 26 group of companies. Before I tackle the questions, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, allow me to cast light on what August 26 is for the benefit of those among ourselves and the nation at large who may not know much about this company. August 26 Holding Company, Pty Limited, is an incorporated company which was established on the 14th of August 1998, and it is 100% owned by the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs The ministry is a shareholding ministry on behalf of the government of the Republic of Namibia, hence an obligation for the clarity on any issue raised by members of this august House. The company has diversified equity interests in inter alia, construction, and logistics. Honorable Ampanda, your first question is about whether I am aware about the issue of the 4 million Namibian dollars involving August 26 regarding the construction of the Karas Regional Council and what steps have been taken or what would be done. I am indeed aware of the issue around the said amount of money. However, my knowledge and that of the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs, as well as that of August 26, seems different from yours. In November 2024, a payment of $4 million was expected to be made to August 26 for the construction of the Karas Regional Council offices. However, despite claims by the client that such payment was effected, the money never reflected in August 26's bank account. Thus, the Regional Council would be better placed to explain why the money took a detour. Upon hearing of these claims, and with the money not having reflected in August 26 construction's bank account, the company opened a case of fraud and misrepresentation, case number CR 124/11/2024. The matter is under police investigation, and should the findings point to fraud and misrepresentation, the law will surely take its course. However, it is interesting that you managed to get access to and publish people's personal information, such as their bank accounts, to which only people authorized by the law, such as the police and the Anti-Corruption Commission, who are investigating such cases, have access. As an honorable member who now makes the law, you should have resisted the temptation to obtain such information through whatever means, let alone publishing it. It is obvious that that information was obtained through illegal means, and questions that in that regard could be asked, leading to repercussions. The $4 million is now a matter of police investigations. I would therefore like to appeal to you, my dear brother, to allow the police to do their job. Regarding your second question, corruption is not embedded in the defense procurement system and in August 26. We do not deny that there could be individual staff members involved in inappropriate conduct, but we reject the picture you are painting here, that everyone in the procurement system is corrupt and that the ministry is tolerant to such conduct. If there are instances about corruption and you are aware about the individuals involved, you are free to notify us, because we also would like to know. Yes, I've said
Yes.
There could be individuals involved in such activities, but to assume that everyone is far-fetched. When such activities come to light, we do follow every lead and take action. You may not always read or hear about these things because we do not trumpet our internal investigations and actions in the public domain. This, however, is not to say we have anything to cover. You are, in your third question, talking
That's important
about
information we
no
want to
action
hear.
being taken against the real culprits involved in corruption in the defense system. As an organization that abides by the supreme law of this country, we do not take actions based on assumptions. If there is a case of corruption or misconduct, such is presented to the internal mechanism charged with the responsibility of ensuring there is an investigation and the appropriate course of action in case someone is found guilty is taken. When you see steps being taken against junior staff member, that is because the findings of a fair and thorough investigation pointed to that direction. The notion that there is always a munene behind each case of corruption is a fallacy. Do not underestimate the boldness of the Mutanda. They can be very creative. You also asked Honorable Ampanda about how many tenders or contracts have been given to August 26 construction over the past 10 years. The company has been awarded over 150 projects to the value of over 1 billion Namibian dollars through a due process in terms of the provisions of the Public Procurement Act of 2015. Some of these projects were abandoned by private companies, and August 26 had to assume the role of the Messiah, taking over the work and completing it in record time and within budget. Inter alia, these are projects such as the Shukmansbeek Secondary School in the Zambezi region, the Ohangwena Educational Head Office, the Opua Police Headquarters in the Kunene region, and the Home Affairs Office at Keetmanshoek in the Karas region. Similarly, the tender to construct the 520 classrooms was awarded on an emergency basis. The company took on this critical project to address the urgent and widespread shortage of classrooms across the country. Recognizing the profound impact this initiative would have on the future of Namibia's children, August 26 construction demonstrated unparalleled commitment and patriotism by completing over 90% of the classrooms in a record-breaking 4 months. I can only thus confirm that August 26 construction uses third-party companies. This is normally done either through joint venture agreements, specialist work agreements, and or subcontractor arrangements where extra resources were required, including SMEs and large-size entities. Rather than criticism, this extraordinary effort deserves recognition and appreciation as a model of collaboration between state entities for the betterment of Namibia. On your fifth question, As I've indicated before, corruption is not embedded in the defense system, including in August 26. We are always robust when dealing with cases of corruption. In your colorful preface, you made mention of the issue of the $8 million car party. I did not know about the issue, but upon finding out, I directed the accounting officer to institute an investigation and provide an explanation. The issue of the made-up invoice became clear later. As you are aware, a staff member was put on suspension. Fortunately, no public money was lost in the process, and as such, the ongoing investigation seeks to establish the intent. You also spoke about the $3 million you say disappeared at August 26 logistics. I need to correct you here. First, the money did not disappear. It was an advance loan which was issued without board authorization. Second, the amount was $2.5 million and not $3 million as you allege. Due to our seriousness in ensuring that no public money is misappropriated, we have since managed to recover the entire amount. And following the conclusion of the investigation, disciplinary actions were taken. There was a case of misappropriation of funds at the then August 26 textile, now August 26 manufacturing, which led to the repossession of the movable and immovable assets of the individuals that were involved. The assets have since been registered and transferred into the company name. The case is ongoing, and further court orders in favor of the company are anticipated. All these cases are meant to illustrate to you that both internal and police investigations are always successfully carried out. In conclusion, I would like to thank you, Honorable Mpanda, for showing interest in matters pertaining to August 26 and the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs. And as such, and as much as I appreciate your interest in the operations of these institutions, I wish to advise you to endeavor to use legitimate means of obtaining information instead of running a clandestine operation within the defense setup of the country. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, let me thank you for the opportunity to clarify these matters. End of court.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. Since the Deputy Minister is a constitutional assistant deputizing the Minister, I will allow any follow-up questions from the Honorable Member who posed the question. So on that is very fair. No. So Honorable Mpanda has the floor, subject to the time limits that we have, because truly the respect of time limits is important.
Okay. Firstly, thank you very much. The response was actually very constructive. There are certain things that we just need to get out of the way. Yes, I confirm that I've obtained that information. I also confirm that I can get any information I want, including of the minister, be it a bank account, be it whatever. we have the necessary capabilities, and if we don't have, we develop those capabilities to get and acquire any information that we want. So the conversation about that, it shouldn't be a question about capabilities. It will continue to be done to access whatever information that is in public interest. And we are more encouraged to develop more capacity to be able to get the information at every time. You need to have capabilities to be able to do this thing. So that's the first one. The second thing, I really just want to appreciate again the response. Of course, I'm not satisfied, but there are aspects that I'm really satisfied with regards to the answer that we've given. We now know that August 26 have received 150 projects at a cost of 1 billion. And that relates to my 8th question, to say the 6th question that I believe wasn't answered, and I hope the Speaker will assist. There was a 6th question that I was asking about. Don't we think it's time to repurpose and redirect this important entity, for the purpose of military industrial complex? That was a question that unfortunately wasn't answered. But the fact that 150 projects have been received at the cost of 1 billion, it tells you that there is capacity. There's good potential for this institution to be able to grow and be able to assist. So we need to discuss what are we going to do in terms of, there was that positive, conclusive question to see that we need to rethink the machinery, to repurpose, reposition, and reorient this important military and economic vehicle from being the headquarters of corruption to an important instrument of military industrial complex. That question has not been answered. There seem to be misunderstanding about nothing in the question that says that everyone in the ministry is corrupt. Embeddedness means is something that is entrenched within the machinery itself. It doesn't presuppose that the minister unfortunately misunderstood the meaning of embeddedness. Embeddedness that is not equal to everyone. It means that within the bloodstreams of the ministry, that corruption has penetrated. It's embedded in there. It's not something that comes and do and hit and run. I'm just clarifying that. Look, the car part gentleman was suspended for a decoy and he came back. Nothing has happened. He's back at work as we speak. So we know what we're talking about. The minister says that he advised me to not run a clandestine operation. I do acknowledge that he believes that I'm running an operation there. I'm capable of running an operation, but I don't think I'm actively running an operation within the Ministry of Defense. We can talk and see about my capabilities and what are supposed to have been done. It's unfortunate that the ministers believe that it's the Karas Regional Council that must answer the money that belonged to the public that didn't come. You ought to be concerned. This money belonged to August 26. You indicated, Minister, that the August 26 is owned 100% by government, and you're saying, no, the person who's supposed to have paid us, he didn't pay us, must be able to answer that question. Yeah? So, but generally, apart from these stories of how I access information, I will have access to everything, everybody in this country if I want to. But I thank very much, I appreciate the response. Apart from the question 6 that is not answered, but I'm generally satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mpanda. I think it might have been an oversight on your last question of the ministry to try to rethink and reset. I wish to respond on his behalf, though, just to maybe inform the House that one of the tasks given to the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs is to restructure all the defense companies. And to that effect, this weekend, on Saturday, there will be a stakeholders meeting of August 26. We will be looking at rethinking, resetting everything. So I'm sorry that that was not reflected in the answer, but it's happening on Saturday. Thank you.
Honourable members, this is one of the questions that was very lengthy in addition to the first question. Please let's help each other and make the question as brief as possible and to the point, so that the answers are also brief and to the point. Having said that, it's now time to break for. We now have time to break. I was requested to exercise flexibility. I'm doing so reluctantly because I believe that because of the job of this honorable member, maybe the member is really under pressure and has to deal with certain issues. The member has asked me to allow a member of the cabinet to table a report. You know, we are past that stage. But I don't really know what the minister wants, that maybe she's very busy, and we also don't want to get in the way of executive accounting wait. The presiding officer has a discretion. Yeah, so I'm not debating with you. I'm only informing you. No. The same way that I allowed those questions that are 2 pages, and I allowed answers of 15 minutes, I can also allow this. But I would like to say to the honorable ministers, if we have reports, an ordinary report to table in Parliament, and you cannot be here, you can task your colleague to table the report, because we cannot be going back and forth on the agenda. I just want to say, no. I have ruled already on that one. We are not going. No. Now I give the floor to the Honorable Minister of Finance to table the reports. Please table the reports, Honorable Minister. Provide the report. So it's not a question. It's not a report to be tabled. See, the information that is put to me here is, I actually wanted to come back to the Minister of Finance and ask her to answer. But then I was told the Minister wants to table a report. You see, this is where the challenge is. If it's about an answer to the question, honorable members, if it's about an answer to the question, we are still on question time. So we can agree to extend by 5 minutes or so that the minister can answer the question. So, Minister, I was confused by the news that reached me here that you have a report. So that question was one by Honorable. It was by Honorable Venani. Okay, it was question number 1 by Honorable Venani to the Minister of Finance. Minister, would you like to answer? You now take the floor, please, to answer.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, let me apologize. I came late, and this is a very important question, and I need to answer because I might also rush out, and I had thought I should answer. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker and members. The question that was posed by Honorable Venani is a very critical one. Critical because it has got a strategic meaning. However, Honorable Venani, as always, he tried to cite a source, and that source is CEIC data of 2017. And that source has confirmed that Namibia has got gold as an asset. It's one of the assets under the foreign exchange reserves. And because the source that was quoted has confirmed that, while we don't have one, all the questions were premised under that one. No, I can read it with the permit. Now that he has provoked me, I'm going to read it with the indulgence. The question says, Honorable Venani has asked the following question to the Minister of Finance. 1 minute. As we are aware, gold reserves are a fundamental component of a country's financial stability, serving as a buffer against economic uncertainties and bolstering, right, investor confidence. The Act, that is not the gold, the Act as a safeguard during periods of market volatility, providing liquidity and supporting the national currency Namibia's total reserves, which include gold, has shown significant growth over the years, according to. Now all of us can now read, according to. So that's the source. And that source is now the one that has confirmed, apparently, that we have gold as one of the assets of the, yeah? I just wanted to say that we are not denying that gold is a strategic reserve. However, I only wanted to correct all of us that the source did not give factual information because currently Namibia does not have gold as part of its foreign reserve or exchange reserve assets. However, it is critical for us to know that yes, in Namibia, there are 2 operational gold mines. That is the Navahab and B2 Gold. And these companies, especially in 2024, have produced gold. For example, B2 Gold produced an estimated of about 198,140 ounces, while Navahab recorded a historical output of about 130,000 ounces. So, because we are also aware that gold is a strategic asset reserve, the Bank of Namibia has conducted a study on whether gold should become part of the foreign exchange reserves assets. And the outcome of that study is still to be discussed with the Ministry of Finance, because we have to assess the implications. Because in other countries where you have gold as part of your foreign exchange reserve assets, these are countries that have access, surplus, in as far as, you have all, we can say you have it all. But for now, we are going very slow. And for that, what we have currently as Namibia, we have then other instruments that are equally good. They can also act as shock absorbers. And these are instruments that are foreign currency denominated. So we have cash. We have also money market instruments and bonds that are really issued by top-rated global issuers, if I can put it that way. So I just wanted to put that on record to say the questions are really pertinent. And if we had gold as part of the foreign exchange reserve assets, I could have then answered each one of the questions that were put before this August House to me. With that, I so submit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Does the Honorable Venani have a follow-up question? A follow-up question, or please?
Please, we are diplomats.
Oh, Mambongo. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for her answer. You must know that what kind of a person I am. I always like to research and to elucidate my facts with information. So that report must be quashed by your ministry because it exists. And I was looking at international states around the world in Africa that has gold. And Namibia was cited as one country that has that kind of amount of gold. It's not something that I thumbsuck, something I research. But if you are saying that report is not factual, thank you for providing the factual basis. But Honorable Minister, what is important to me and to the country is the fact that we have gold mines, we have reserves, and every Namibian, even Nekundi and many of you on that side of the aisle have this rhetoric that even the new Deputy Prime Minister, the resources is ours, we must benefit from it. But yet we are producers, net producers of gold for a number of years. countries that has no single mine of gold are having gold reserves in their central banks. And a country such as ours that is a repository of those kind of wealth do not have. So I think I want to focus my question towards government aligning its policy towards benefiting and making sure that Namibians benefit from their resources through investing our own reserves that we have. Even if the mine is doing, say, 100 ones per year, we can say at least 10 of them, bring them to the state so that the state can be able to save them. Because all countries that has currencies linked to gold have strong currencies. And we are a country with that kind of resource, but we are not exploiting it. But let's go continue engaging one another on how best we can make sure that our people benefit from these resources going forward. Thank you very much.
Minister, do you want to say something in reply?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Venani. Like I have said, we are not differing. We are only saying you researched, I equally researched, and I also researched from the factual point of view that even all of us can go today to Central Bank of Namibia and ask anyone there, do you have gold hosting it on behalf of the government? They will say, not now, but we are exploring because of the value of that is attributed to gold as a strategic reserve. So there we are all aligned, and that is why I have also indicated that the Bank of Namibia has carried out a study that we still now need to discuss, because holding that gold is not as simple as we are talking about it. You have to buy it, yes. You have to refine it. We don't have an oil refinery. You see, I'm not even going to another asset. We don't have a refinery for us then to have those bars so that then the bank can have them. And then, yeah, it's 35 years. But we don't hide. We always present here. The foreign asset.
The Honourable Member is responding, no interjection.
The foreign exchange reserves assets that we have, we don't hide them. They are there in all the documents that we produce. But thank you so much. We are going to give you feedback after we have discussed with the Bank of Namibia on how we'll be progressing as far as this.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The House will now rise for no, you are not the mover, Honourable Member, so you cannot pose additional question. So the House rises for 15 minutes break.
Thank you. The last question disposed of was question 17, 15. We'll now go to question 18 by Honorable Motu to the Minister of Home Affairs Immigration. Minister is not here. We'll pass over to question 20 from Honorable McHenry Venani to the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. Do Honorable Venani put a question? Thank you, Honorable Minister. And we take that today is a precedent of unlimited time, since there was unlimited time for questions. I pray for your indulgence. I found the house like that, Klingi, you came late. Thank you. Honorable Member, sorry.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. This one will be very, very short. Let me respond to Honorable Venani with regard to the question that he asked on Namibia Industrial Development Agency and redirect the question to the relevant authority by way of saying that NIDA was formerly under the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade. And with the reconfiguration, the aspect of industrialization was merged now with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Therefore, I think, Honorable Venani, although some of the projects that NITA is working on insofar as agro-processing are concerned and some of the activities are of agricultural nature, they are not under the oversight of the Ministry of Agriculture. So I will therefore advise that that question be directed to the Minister responsible for industrialization. And informally we have spoken, and I think they are busy with providing a full response. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. In agreement, Honorable Member. Thank you. We now move to question 21. Okay. From Honorable Venani to the Minister of Information. Minister is not here. We dispose to question 22. Again, Honorable Venani to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Again, no delegation. Again, question 23 from Honorable Venani to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Question 24 from Honorable Bishop Festus Thomas to the Minister of Urban and Rural. Both Minister and Deputy Ministers absent. It's a marathon question. Question 25, Honorable Binge Shiondo to the Minister of Finance. Okay, it seems the Minister is not yet back. That brings us to question 26, Honorable. Okay. Oh, question 25. Thank you. No, then I must ask the Honorable Member whether she puts the question or any other member on her behalf.
I'm just providing information though.
Come again?
I'm just providing information on the question.
Are you answering? If you are not answering, then the member and the minister is not here. Let's keep it. Okay.
There are some functions that now resolve under my ministry, that's why.
Honorable Minister, are you answering the question? It's a question that needs an answer.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Question 26, Honorable Invula to the Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth and Sport. Is Honorable Invula here to put the question or any member on his behalf? Is Honorable Invula here to put the question or any member on his behalf? Okay, then we'll come back to it. Honorable Fries to the Minister of Education, Innovation and Youth and Sport. Is Honorable Fries here or any other member on his behalf to put a question? Honorable Engari. Thank you very much. Is the Deputy? Thank you. The floor is yours, Honorable Deputy Minister. 27.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to respond to the question asked by Honorable Fries in relation to the University of Namibia's recent plea for human bodily remains for medical science purposes. I think for the purpose of time, I'm not going to repeat the question, but perhaps just to go straight to the answers of the various questions. So I think for the first one, I can state on behalf of my minister, recently, the University of Namibia School of Medicine has been actively involved in starting the discussion on public platforms as it pertains to donations of human bodily remains. We are utilizing radio and television broadcasting platforms to start the dialogue. These platforms, however, do not provide education on the subject matter, but rather awareness. Donation campaigns that target high school students could potentially help with the morbid misconceptions surrounding medical science education. In terms of the second question, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, UNAM always strives to maintain the highest quality of teaching, and a shortage of human bodily remains does not affect the time we have to demonstrate specific anatomical structures to the students. This in turn compromises their perception and orientation. We do not, we do have specimens that have been permanently retained for teaching, and an option to allow this is included in the prescribed donation form. These specimens are, however, very few, which limits the amount of time students have to study the structures, as well as the limitations of structures that can be seen clearly. To the third question, the university's current mission to spread awareness surrounding human bodily remains, bodily remains donation is not a solution at present. It is to secure both donations for the future. The more potential donors we have, the higher the chances to secure a healthy intake of donors each year. However, at this point in time, we want our potential donors to live long and healthy natural lives, and we still need to adapt our teaching strategies. The institution is also exploring electronic alternative teaching and training equipment platforms. Honorable Speaker, the fourth question, the anatomy team at the University of Namibia has been actively engaged to motivate the amendment of legislation in order to collect unclaimed human remains for a decade, but views surrounding anatomical studies have already changed since then. One has to consider the backlash from both the local and international public when an institution accepts unclaimed human remains. Worldwide anatomical departments are moving away from this practice and only accept donations of human bodily remains. This, of course, contributes to shortage of cadavers, if I pronounced that correctly, but it can be considered ethically sound. The best practice is to refer cadavers only once human bodily remains were donated in an appropriate and ethical manner. The fifth question, there were many questions posed. The answer to this is yes. Many individuals are willing to donate only specific organs for biomedical education and research, but it is not allowed. Namibia has already grown significantly since 1977. Thus, our legislation should align with modern views as long as it is in the best interest of the Namibian people. And the sixth and last question, we agree that the ordinance should be reviewed so that the current ethical standards, technological advancements, best practices, and legal expectations can be accommodated. The current ordinance is half a century old. I so submit.
Thank you. Any clarity seeking question, follow up?
Honorable Deputy Speaker, I would only like to thank the Deputy Minister for the elaborate explanations to the questions. And I would further just request a hard copy of the reply, just to have a better view of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is in agreement, Deputy Minister, to just circulate the response. I want to go back to the previous question. Please be fair with. Okay, I think the Minister of Finance is here. And I want to go back to question 25, the one of Honorable Mbinge Shiondo. Is there any person who will put the question on behalf of the member?
Yes, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we put the question.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, a response on question 25.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable members, as I have indicated in one of my interventions, that the social grants management is spread into two modes. One of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, especially when it comes to identification, registration, validation, whereas the payment part is then entrusted on Vote 9, that is finance. I then had thought that I would seek for guidance, Honorable Deputy Speaker, as I have discussed with my colleague, whether it would be good for this question to be redirected to the Minister of Gender Equality and Child Welfare.
Okay.
As a submit.
Thank you. I think we take notice, and the member who put the question on behalf of the member will relate that information. Thank you. We now go to question 26. Honorable Imvula, do you put the question?
Yes, yes, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.
The question.
Honorable Deputy Minister, question 27. Are you in position to provide? Thank you. You have the floor. 26, sorry.
26.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I am directed and delegated by the Minister, Honorable Steenkamp, to respond to the questions by Honorable Mvula. With regards, please forgive my pronunciation, the kuku kwap.
Kwekwe kwap.
Kwekwe kwap.
Yes.
I will respectfully. So as English, as my mother tongue, I will respectfully ask to refer to it as KKG, if that is in order. No? Okay. I thank the honourable member for this important and timely question regarding the status of KKG in Namibia's higher education system. The Ministry, MISAC, remains committed to the protection, promotion and development of indigenous languages as enshrined in the Namibian Constitution and the National Language Policy. The Ministry is aware of the existence of other indigenous languages such as Setswana, Chuansi, as well as other languages originating from Europe and South Africa such as German and Afrikaans spoken by minorities in Namibia. To the first question, I believe there are 5. The Ministry is currently conducting an active evaluation of the implementation of indigenous language programs in tertiary institutions. We are collaborating with regulatory and accrediting bodies, including the NQA and the NCHE, to enhance oversight mechanisms that prevent the unilateral discontinuation or downgrading of accredited indigenous language courses, including KKG. The forthcoming evaluation of the National Language Policy will also underscore the importance of enforceable provisions for the inclusion of indigenous languages at all levels of education. To the second question, the Ministry is cognizant of the concerning practice of institutions transferring the responsibility for lecture recruitment to students, particularly those that are enrolled in KKG programs. This could be a result of inadequate government funding or policy priorities. Other indigenous languages may receive complete support due to their established programs, broader demand, or stronger institutional backing. The comprehensive integration of KKG into funded language education frameworks may not be complete at this time. This results in unequal support, which places the financial burden on students who desire to study the language. Our ministry is committed to ensuring that all language programs receive equitable treatment and sufficient funding support, and we will collaborate with the NCHE and other stakeholders to prevent any discriminatory treatment of language groups. To the third question, the International University of Management, or IUM, and the Institution of Open Learning, or IOL, have been contacted by the ministry to discuss the redirection of students and the status of KKG language programs. I wish to put on record, initially, IOL had denied that it is redirecting students who have enrolled in KKG teacher training into unrelated disciplines. Nonetheless, the institution has identified low enrollment numbers as a substantial obstacle which has hindered their capacity to fully offer the program. The ministry has urged IUM to explore alternative strategies for the maintenance of the program, such as enhancing outreach efforts to attract a greater number of students and implementing part-time delivery modules. It is crucial to emphasize that IOL has never discontinued qualifications in mother tongue instruction, specifically KKG, despite public concern. KKG has consistently been incorporated into their curriculum for the diploma in junior primary education and early childhood programs as per IOL feedback to the ministry. IOL reports that KKG instruction was expanded to encompass senior primary phase and secondary phase education programs at both NQF Level 7 and Level 8, following a review of their qualifications. To the fourth question, Honorable Speaker, KKG is a main subject that is actively offered as part of the Bachelor of Arts in Humanities and several Bachelor of Education honors programs at the undergraduate level of the University of Namibia. A gradual increase in interest is evident in the enrollment of 7 first-year students and a total of 60 fourth-year students in the education stream for this 2025 year. Moreover, UNAM has broadened its academic offering in KKG by approving new postgraduate programs to note degrees at doctoral, master, and honors levels that are currently pending accreditation. The university acknowledges that low interest among prospective students continues to be a significant challenge despite these positive developments. The university is adamant that there is institutional capacity to continue offering KKG. Consequently, UNAM has urged communities, parents, traditional leaders, and even us as parliamentarians to actively encourage learners to pursue studies in Namibian languages, including KKG. These initiatives are being supported by the ministry, which is currently working to increase enrollment through targeted scholarships, language promotion campaigns, and partnerships such as UNAM's MOU with the Northern Cape province in South Africa. I'm going to move to the last question. I'm very happy to provide this in writing to the Honourable Member. And to the final question, in conjunction with the National Council on Higher Education, as well as the National Qualification Authority and other pertinent stakeholders, the Ministry intends to implement a language equity audit in all higher education institutions in order to guarantee equitable resource allocation and institutional support for indigenous languages. The audit will evaluate compliance with the national language policy, identify systemic disparities, and suggest corrective measures with a particular emphasis on KKG and other languages spoken by indigenous minorities. Honourable Speaker, in conclusion, we reiterate that KKG, a rich and foundational indigenous language, is deserving not only of constitutional recognition, but also practical and sustained integration into our national education system. Our commitment as a ministry is to reverse marginalization and establish a more inclusive linguistic and cultural future for all Namibians. I so submit.
Thank you. Thank you. You satisfied, honorable member?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister, for that response. It must really be complimented, specifically your efforts in addressing or redressing this marginalization of indigenous language subjects or language in this school system. There has been a little bit of a worrying trend where sometimes when one talks or speaks to this, then you are sort of considered to be a tribalist. But as a Namibian and a 100% of Shiwambo speaking myself, I got worried about this trend where, for example, in Oshikoto recently, Oshikoto region, the Oshikoto Regional Education Directorate congratulated the appointment of principals across that region. And that region is actually vast. I think it reaches until Tinsabe's area, perhaps even beyond it. Now, out of, I think, probably 15 of those appointed principals, you find only one principal that is of a different tribe than the Oshiwambo-speaking tribe, which is very worrisome because, and it's a trend that has actually been, or one has monitored over the past decades. Now, and I think it's picking up fast. Now it's even, you know, when one is in the public, then you also read newspapers, and you get to see that the conversations of the public is about this particular issue, also of this gradual marginalization, not only in terms of language, but also in terms of the people themselves that are not of a specific tribe when it comes to the appointment in high positions of government and state-owned enterprises included. So it's very commendable that the minister or the ministry has initiated an audit to, is that an audit, Deputy Minister, you said? It's a matter of correction, but an assessment to actually see why the interest, or rather why the uptake in some of these institutions when it comes to the KKG language has been low. I mean, what are the possible factors that has led to that? Is it I would also like you to look at whether it's because of limited access to scholarships pertaining to people that want to or have interest to go to study further in this KKG language and other indigenous languages, in order for them to come back and take up positions of responsibilities at these particular institutions as tutors or lecturers or even principals of schools. Yeah? So maybe you just want to expand on your assessment and include that particular aspect. Now, lastly, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, specifically the Deputy Minister, I wonder whether the principle, and this is more of a follow-up question, whether the principals at any given government school have a mandate to dictate what language should be taught at that particular school and what language not.
Yeah.
And also a sub-question of that, or to that, is whether the ministry has made it a point, or maybe you want to do it after your assessment exercise, to make it a point to inform or instruct, or rather direct principals to not practice these discriminatory tendencies.
Yes.
Yeah? So with that, I thank you for your response, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you. I think I wanted to borrow from yesterday, and where is Honorable Lizazi quoted the rule about the dress code of the PM. And what I liked, in the spirit of accepting and correcting himself, the presiding member said, the rule is clear, and therefore the PM after break went to correct himself. And I thought that's the understanding. And I thought the presiding member started to say the questions we are putting, there is a time limit in terms of the manner and time we put questions, so that the answer can also with that. And by nature, I don't want to interrupt a person, but I thought to err is wrong, but to learn is also precious. So going forward, we'll always implore to be better than yesterday. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, in that spirit,
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I unfortunately will not be responding to the question, perhaps the sub-question of the Honorable Member, simply because I don't have that information.
Yeah, you have the floor.
No, if the shadow wants to put earphones on, he can put earphones on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the question relating to principals having a mandate to choose languages, I shall revert timelessly to give that feedback, and also for the ministry to direct principals not to have any sort of prejudice. I can already assure you that that's the case, but I'll be very happy to get some comprehensive feedback.
Okay.
So I think that's my response.
And some of the things we can deal it, offline, Yeah. No, because I don't take coffee, so I say offline. We are the new generation. Okay, thank you very much. I think we have disposed of question 27. It takes us to question 28, but the Right Honorable PM is not present, and there is no subsequent delegation. Question 29, Honorable Ipumbu is here, but the Minister is not here. Question 30, Honorable Venani, but the Prime Minister is not here. Question. Yeah, let us, I think there will be time. Question 31, Honorable Kumbwa. But before I do that, Deputy Minister, are you in position to provide feedback?
On my behalf, what is the
Deputy Minister, please address the presiding member, please.
As a principal assistant to the minister, I have been requested by my minister to ask for the indulgence of the House.
Anything doubted.
When he is around, we will be ready for the response.
Thank you. And as such,
sorry for the inconvenience caused.
Thank you. And as such, we skip Honorable Kumbwa. We take note. Honorable 32, question 32. Honorable Kandorodu to the Minister of Defense. My Honorable Deputy Minister, are you in a position?
With due respect, and because this is coming from, the question is coming from Omunene, Mutanda will decline and wait for the minister.
Okay, thank you very much. You take note, Honorable Gandorondu. Yeah. That brings us to question 33. Honorable Karonda, the minister is present. Do you put the question?
Honorable Deputy Speaker, yes, I do.
Okay. I thought you would say Honorable Mutanda. Thank you, Honorable, my able Doctor, the Minister of Health and Social Service.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, thank you for the question. I wish to highlight that this is a very important question. I will not be reading out the questions just to save time. However, I do want to just emphasize that in May 2025, this year, so last month, we did extend a meeting invitation to all stakeholders, including representatives of the intern, so that we can sit and finalize this matter, as it was top of the priority list when I took office. The Ministry of Health and Social Services acknowledges the arbitration award issued on the 17th of November 2023, which ruled in favor of recognizing interns, medical interns, as employees. The Ministry is not refusing to recognize medical interns as employees at this time. So in this particular tenure, we are not refusing to recognize medical interns as employees. We are currently engaging, as I mentioned, with relevant stakeholders to ensure the implementation of the award is handled lawfully, structured, as well as in a sustainable manner. In particular, the Ministry is working on the proposal for the payment of fixed overtime, which is a significant element in the employment terms for medical interns. This particularly I wish to highlight very importantly, understanding the role that medical interns play with overtime, also keeping in mind that I myself was also a medical intern in the same system and went through the system and also was not afforded overtime and saw the effects that that had. With that said, the Ministry reaffirms its commitment to resolving this matter in a way that upholds the rights of the medical interns, and during this meeting we believe our intentions were made known, and we now proceed with consultations with the necessary stakeholders to find a solution as to the way forward with regards to what we are able to offer the interns. Your second question, I answer it as follows. Our stance is that medical interns are entitled to fair compensation, particularly, as I mentioned, because throughout the country, at least in Namibia, they run a majority of the times when you go to a hospital, you will find a medical intern is the one present and doing a lot of the heavy lifting. With that said, in light of this, the Ministry is actively engaging, as I mentioned, with relevant stakeholders, including representatives of the interns, as well as their legal representation, including the Ministry of Finance, Public Service Commission, to develop a proposed framework for the payment of fixed overtime. This framework is necessary to regularize the compensation process, as well as ensure that any payments are in compliance with existing financial and public service regulations. The finalized proposal is to be submitted to the Office of the Prime Minister very soon for approval. Your last question, question number 4, I will answer it as follows. We take note of the fact that interns, due to uncertainties in employment matters, may undergo a lot of emotional, psychological, and physical strain, especially if matters remain unresolved for a prolonged period of time. While the Ministry has not acted with intransigence, it recognizes that the delays in implementing the arbitration award and extending full employment benefits may have had unintended impacts, particularly on the interns. These delays, I wish to emphasize, are not due to lack of will, particularly of the current administration, but rather the need to follow due legal and administrative processes, which include, as I've mentioned, engagement with multiple stakeholders, as well as budgetary planning to understand what these decisions will have and how we can accommodate them. The Ministry takes very seriously its duty of care toward all healthcare workers, and in this case, particularly the interns. In light of this, the Ministry is committed to the following. Firstly, accelerating consultations. As I mentioned, the longer we take, the more interns suffer. And so therefore, we commit to accelerating consultations with relevant stakeholders to resolve outstanding matters affecting medical interns, enhance access to psychosocial support services. As you've rightfully so mentioned, this has more than just the financial impact. including counseling for all affected personnel through the existing Employee Wellness Program extended, and then assessing options for medical support and treatment where appropriate for interns facing documented health issues arising from work-related stress. In conclusion, the Ministry reaffirms its commitment to ensuring a safe, respectful and supportive working environment, of course ensuring that interns are compensated as they should, maintaining their rights. I thank you.
Thank you. The member satisfied?
Honorable Deputy Speaker, I naturally am very satisfied.
Thank you. I'm also somehow lost, but Venani is the one who cracked everything, so. Please, don't. Okay, that brings us to question 34. From Honorable Thomas, Minister of Works is not present. Question 35. Question 36. Yeah, question 35 is to the Minister of Works and Transport. I thought we started together, Honorable Kalangula, so you'll know who's present and who's absent. Okay, question 36. Question 37 from Honorable Likato. Anyone who puts, oh, sorry, Honorable Likato, hande, sorry. Do you put a question, Honorable Likato? Thank you very much. I will pose the question. Yes. Thank you very much. My Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, firstly let me thank Honorable Lukato for posing this very important question regarding the importation of fresh vegetables, underutilized arable land, and unemployment, particularly among the youth. I commend Honorable Member for raising this issue and confirm that the Ministry shares the Honorable Member's views on the need to increase domestic agricultural production, reduce food imports, and expand employment opportunities through agriculture. Now, on the specific questions that have been posed, as per the document, I wish to respond as follows. Honorable members, we all know that we continue as a country to import certain fresh vegetables, primarily due to seasonal supply gaps, high production input costs, and limited irrigation infrastructure. For example, potatoes, one of our major imports, require production input costs of over 250,000 Namibian dollars per hectare. And we remain reliant on imported seed potatoes, mostly from South Africa. That said, learning from my young honorable colleague here, that said, our local vegetable production is growing steadily. Namibian farmers currently supply 56% of our domestic vegetable demand. And the market share promotion scheme introduced in 2004 and currently requiring importers to source at least 47% of their produce locally has been instrumental in this growth that I referred to earlier. Our goal is to increase that share to 60% by 2030, and maybe even more if all things were equal. At its inception in 2004, Namibia's total production capacity for fruits and vegetables stood at a mere 4%. Furthermore, through the Special Control Product Scheme, imports of 21 vegetables, including tomatoes, onions, cabbage, and butternut, are banned during times of sufficient local supply. In addition, Honorable Member, with respect to our green scheme and arable land, I can say and confirm that Honorable Member is absolutely right in observing that Namibia has underutilized arable land. And we agree that we must collectively change this situation. Through the Green Schemes program, the Ministry is expanding irrigated agriculture along our perennial rivers, our dams and boreholes. And as was the case in the past, we will continue to engage our traditional leaders to access land and develop land for communal irrigation schemes in line with regional agronomic ecological conditions. A review of the crop value chain strategy emphasizes expansion of production under the Green Schemes program, where feasible, with targeted production of crops that thrives in each region climatic and soil profile. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I agree with Honorable Lucato that agriculture has a huge potential to tackle youth unemployment. The Ministry is aiming, therefore, to mainstream youth employment in the implementation of programs for the development of the agriculture sector. This mainstreaming includes, amongst others, the following: the provision of technical training, that mainly targeting youth and the women, encouraging development and financial institutions to devise financial products targeting youth and women in agriculture. We are also looking at placement opportunities for youth and women under our small-scale farming components in our green schemes. Furthermore, honorable members, we are working with other ministries to ensure that government procurement of food prioritizes produce from local farmers, particularly those supported by state or our regional green schemes. On policy and legislative reforms, honorable members, we acknowledge that for long-term impact, we need further strengthen our policy and legal instruments. Accordingly, the Ministry will, in the current financial year, undertake a review of our policy and legislative framework, amongst them the Namibia Agricultural Policy of 2015, the Green Scheme Policy, and the Agronomic Industry Act regulations, amongst others. These reforms, honorable member, we hope that will aim to enhance food production and productivity, strengthen local market access and value chains, create sustainable employment opportunities, encourage private sector partnership and agro-processing, and improve climate resilient farming strategies. On balancing trade and food sovereignty, honorable members, honorable Speaker, As member of the World Trade Organization, Namibia must comply with international trade rules. However, the Agronomic Industry Act does enable us to impose targeted import restrictions from time to time, which we have used through the market share scheme promotion and the grain marketing scheme to protect and to grow our domestic production. Grain imports, for example, are banned during local harvesting season. Despite climatic challenges, particularly drought in the 2023-2024, 2024-2025 financial years, this policy has helped to stabilize income for farmers and has enabled market access. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the Ministry agrees with Honorable Lucato on the agency of reducing food imports. The Ministry is committed to scaling up production through our green scheme projects. And the Ministry is further committed to collaborating with our traditional authority leaders in promoting agricultural production. We recognize that agricultural potential for youth employment must be a key priority. And therefore, we will review our policies and our legislative framework to enable greater investment in efficiency and participation. And we will continue to build strong, sustainable local value chains to ensure national food security. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we stand ready to work with this honorable House, with our communities out there and stakeholders to realize the full potential of our agricultural sector. And Honorable Lucato, you are welcome to come to my office so that we can have further discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any further
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your smart response. It's really, let me say, salute to you for that. Let me also add that on the farmers, Honorable Minister, the farmers countrywide, they lack assistance to be assisted financially in order for them, because Namibians, they have a very good bread, and also that they can promote agriculture. They can promote agriculture through the food security. Number two, Honorable Minister, there is also a problem which I have received from the former West Kongora constituency, but the former Western Caprivi, today Zambezi, Western Zambezi. At Cheto, those areas, there was an extension officer with all those equipments. But now, for the past 5 years, there's no extension officer. So the local farmers in those areas, they are crying because they have to get an extension officer from, let me say, from Katima, from Sibinda constituency, sometimes from Kongora, other side of Bati. They don't get safes. And also, last, Honorable Minister, the farmers in Namibia actually they lack also market. There is no market for their products. So I just want to appeal to Honorable Minister to take note of these issues, which need Namibian people to develop themselves. And we need also that the ministry with the cabinet to assist, to make sure that the farmers should be assisted so that we must not depend in foreign products to import whatsoever. I thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, and Honorable Minister. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it was more a comment, Honorable Minister. We can step off to question. 38, following. We were at question 37 from Honorable Lucato to the Minister of Agriculture, which was responded. So now it's question 38 from Honorable Mwongo to the Minister of Health. Does Honorable Mwongo, is it put or pose?
To put.
Pose the question.
I put
Pose.
the question.
Yeah. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, thank you very much for the question, Honorable. I appreciate this particularly. There have been a few questions raised over the past few months, so to speak, regarding the nurses, as well as numerous concerns that have been raised. As I answer the question, because of time, what I will do is some questions I will group together because they have a similar or the same answer, but if I miss anything, please feel free to just state as such. The registration and the evaluation of health professions is guided by the provisions of the Health Professions Act number 16 of 2024 as amended. In particular, section 33 to practice a profession, in this case nursing or midwifery, must submit to the Registrar of the Health Professions Council of Namibia an application for registration in the prescribed form. Such application must be accompanied by, inter alia, a certified copy of the qualification and written proof to the satisfaction of the registrar that the applicant has met the prescribed requirements in respect of practical training. I wish to state that the Council does not require nursing graduates to wait for formal graduation ceremonies before accepting their registration applications. However, it has been noted that in certain cases where the rule or the law has not been followed, we are not here to state that it has not happened, but we are here to state that if that is the case, because of what the law states, please feel free to bring these matters to the office and we will address them as is required. All that is needed are certified copies of the qualifications and written proof of compliance with the prescribed requirements for practical training as is required by the law. And graduates of the institutions are then allowed to proceed. Question number 2 I will answer as follows. From experience to date, it is noted that the delays on evaluation have been reportedly not been caused by the Council, but the educational institutions that have been reported to submit the training completion records of their students to the Council 1 month or sometimes 2 after the completion of studies, sometimes due to failure or poor administration. Evaluations are scheduled to take place at least 4 times every year: February, May, September, and November. But once again, I wish to emphasize, where the Honourable Member is aware of instances where this is not being followed, please feel free to raise this and we will take it up as a matter of urgency. With that said, I will answer question number 3 and 4 together. Firstly, I want to highlight that the Act does not allow for the registration of a person who has not submitted proof of his or her qualification. For this particularly, the sentiments are that the goal is to protect the public interest, and where the impression is that this needs to be altered in order to benefit the people it was created to serve. Once again, we welcome that conversation. We are not directed by what was, but directed as to what we want for the people of the country. Question number 4 I wish to answer as follows. As is current practice, according to Section 26 of the Act, the funds of the Council include fees payable to it under that Act. This one I will answer very briefly. My opinion on the matter has been widely publicized. I believe that the review of the fees payable to the Council are underway. Affordability has been expressed recurrently to the Ministry, to myself, and understanding the fact that in a lot of these cases, the nurses are not yet employed and therefore do not have the funds to pay thousands to sit for an exam. And so the suggestion there from my office was either we say that they will pay a fee once they are employed, or we see how we can meet the Council by affording them the necessary budget that they need in order to do away with the fee. However, I wish to emphasize that the necessary consultations are underway, and I echo your sentiments on that matter. Question number 5, regarding the pass mark being 75%. In response to this, I highlight that with regard to nurses and also where doctors are concerned, the key there is to understand that the Council evaluation is aimed at achieving reasonable assurance that a graduate possesses adequate professional knowledge, skills, and competence to practice safely, particularly because lives are at stake. Because of that, the pass mark at the moment cannot be at the borderline of 50%. However, where the necessary debates must take place, we welcome them, but due to the sensitivity of the matter and the fact that nurses are dealing with human life, we stand on the fact that a pass mark of 65 should be the minimum, as they should be well informed on subject matter to be able to treat and preserve life. Question number 6. The evaluation tests being held in Windhoek, I'll answer this very quickly. This should not be the case. These concerns are valid. The plan is to have the evaluation decentralized to various parts of the country to prevent students from having to travel in unnecessarily, provided that the handling of the evaluation material is secured. That is important. This was, however, not possible for the evaluation scheduled for June 2025. However, we are looking into this matter as a matter of urgency. Question number 7, why are students being compelled to adhere to council policies where institutions themselves are violating admission regulations and facing zero repercussions? There, I will answer this by stating, as previously answered in some of the answers that I gave, to say no institution is allowed to be non-compliant, and particularly with the provisions of the law. Educational institutions that you are aware of that violate the admission requirements approved by the council, so far as we know, are facing the necessary consequence. However, where we do not have sight of those, once again, please do bring those up, as non-compliance will not be tolerated. I thank you.
Thank you.
Fine, thank you very much. It takes us to question number 39. The Honorable Minister is also not here. Question 40, Honorable Lucato to the Honorable Minister of Health. Do you pose the question, Honorable Lucato?
Thank you very much for the floor, Honorable Speaker. I pose question.
Thank you.
To the Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, thank you, honorable member, for the question. I will address these questions and try to summarize where possible, as this is quite a lengthy answer. Question number 1, and allow me to read both questions and then answer them simultaneously. Question number 1, why does the Ministry of Health and Social Services not order medical equipment and medicine directly from suppliers? Question number 2, why do they procure medical equipment and medicines through the middleman? I trust that that is more or less the same question, and I will answer them together. And then question number 3 as well, much related. They opt, I'm supposing you mean the ministries opt to advertise the tenders, and tender middleman will triple and inflate the cost price of items. This practice really take government backwards and must be abolished as soon as possible, says the question. So I'll answer all three together and try to do so with the time that I have been given. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, I wish to note that I want to state that the procurement by public entities is set out by the Public Procurement Act, number 15 of 2015, as amended. As we are all aware, the choice for a particular method is dependent on a number of factors, firstly, such as the turnaround times for delivery of goods, services, public interest, price competitiveness, and value for money considerations. Now, with that said, it is not entirely correct to say that the ministry does not procure medical equipment and medicines directly from supplier. There, I would assume that the question is more, why does the ministry not always procure medicines and equipment directly from the supplier, which is a valid question. There are instances where the ministry has procured medical equipment and medicines directly from the supplier, but there I wish to emphasize very importantly, where this has been done, there has been numerous, oftentimes backlash, stating that there is a limitation of participation and competitiveness, particularly from small to medium enterprises. After taking office, this is one of the first things we took to address. Once again, being informed that procuring directly from the supplier, although it is noble and although cut costs drastically for the ministry, which is what we want, we are then faced with the issue that has been raised numerous times regarding competitiveness and allowing for small to medium enterprises to take part. With that said, that does not state or deem that it is not necessary to look at it and to revise, particularly because of the fact that you have clearly stated regarding the inflation of prices, and that is what we want to guard against. It is for this reason that the ministry has, way back in 2022, initiated processes to procure medicines through a long-term contract arising from open national and international bidding, a matter which the ministry was awarded favorably by the High Court judgment last month. This long-awaited judgment allows the ministry to balance between price competitiveness, better turnaround times, and security of supply of pharmaceuticals in the country through a competitively procured long-term contract. Does this answer the question entirely? No. To that, I wish to state transparency is an important principle that, yes, is embedded in the Public Procurement Act, number 15 of 2015. The Act provides for 9 procurement methods which public entities can give regards to when procuring works, goods, and services. However, a default procurement method is open advertising because of transparency that has been required time and time again for inclusiveness and competitiveness. Choosing any other method, oftentimes, not often, does need justification according to the laws, given the limited participation and competitiveness. What the ministry is now doing is sitting back, assessing the rules and regulations, and trying to understand what is the best way to work forward, keeping in mind that although we do not want to cut out or be seen to be anti-competitive, we must keep in mind that overinflation of prices cannot be permitted, and also understanding the fact that where changes must be made, they will be made. We are actively looking at it. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the floor, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Minister, let me also salute you for your response. Then I'm having a few things for you again. First of all, Honorable Minister, I humble request for the copies of your answers. That's first one. Second one, you are the one of the cabinet ministers who have promised that you are going to act and then you are going to implement. So my question there, how long are you going to take to implement this, what you have stated here in the Parliament? Then from there, Who is now the
No. Honorable Ligato, address the presiding member. No, address the presiding member.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, honorable Minister. There is also, honorable Minister, there is also a shortage of doctors in most of the health centers. The doctors are only based in the state hospitals, but in the health centers and the clinics, there's no doctors. So we need doctors in that regard, because you are dealing with the life of people of Namibia. Then also, the question now again, are you, the nurses, the staff nurses, they are complaining that now they have to buy uniform for themselves.
Hello, Honorable Ligato.
Yo.
Okay. Elder.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
You have the book, ne?
Oh, yes.
You have the book?
Yes, I'm happy.
Okay. Just wait.
Yes.
Can we go to page 74?
Okay. Yes.
74, ne? 131. ne? Okay. I want to give you that privilege to read general rules of questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can start with number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Every member.
You can stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We take it that we don't know. That's what Prof taught us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, this is Rule 7.4.
Page 47, Rule 131.
40?
Page 47.
Oh, 47, okay.
Rule
74. I'm right.
Yes, there is objection here. Let me hear.
Okay.
I think that's your job to do, to read the rules to the House. Please don't humiliate our elder. That just read.
Thank you. Hello, thank you. The intention. No, okay. I take notice of the advice. The intention is not to humiliate. The intention is for all of us to educate and to move together. Yeah. But all I wanted to direct, since it's in my ambit as the presiding officer, when you pose a follow-up question, it must be in relation to the matter that you have raised in the question. Now, when I read the question, it's about the medical procedure, the 4 laptops, and the HIFAC operations and so. And why opt to advertise the tender and the middlemen. So now when there is a follow-up question, my honorable member, it should be in relation to the matter that you have raised in that particular question. Okay. Yeah, so if there is a follow-up, you can do it. If there is none, you can bring another question. The question is your prerogative, anytime.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, let me end by saying, I salute you and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we dispose question 40. Question 41, Minister is not present. 42, likewise. 44. Huh? No, 42. 43. Yeah, 44 is a question from Honorable Fries. It's a question from Honorable Fries. Does Honorable Fries pose the question? I'm with Honorable Fries first. 44.
Yes, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I put the question.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I wish to express my appreciation to Honorable Fries for raising pertinent questions relating to illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing activities, which is otherwise referred to as IUU, particularly along the Namibian northern maritime border with Angola. These concerns reflect the seriousness of the real threat posed to our marine resources and national economy. Allow me, therefore, Honorable Speaker, to respond to the question posed by Honorable Fries in the order in which they appear in the booklet in front of you, without me referring to the questions, in the interest of time. So, firstly, with regard to question 1, to protect Namibia's marine resources, the Ministry continues to deploy a range of monitoring, control, and surveillance assets. This includes the vessel monitoring system, which we call the VMS, the automatic identification system, AIS, aerial surveillance, and 2 dedicated patrol vessels, which I had the privilege to visit 2 weeks ago. Since February the 7th, 2025, the Ministry has ensured continuous presence at the northern eastern maritime border through the rotational deployment of our patrol vessels. We have 2 of them, and each vessel is tasked with around-the-clock surveillance to deter potential IUU fishing activities. Even when their automatic identification system is deactivated, our patrol vessel can use the radar system and the proximity to identify vessels within a 40 nautical mile radius. With respect to question 2, Honorable Member, while the main base for the maritime operation remains in Walfish Bay, alongside the Namibian naval base, the Ministry acknowledges the strategic need for a northern presence, ideally near the Kunene River mouth. However, as you could appreciate, Honorable Member, establishing such a base would require substantial resources, which we don't have at this stage. To address this, the Ministry is therefore in discussion with the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, the Namibian Navy, the Namibian Police Water Wing, to finalize a memorandum of understanding. This memorandum will then aim to enhance joint maritime operations and maximize the availability of patrol vessels for rapid response mission in otherwise high-risk zones. With respect to question 3, Namibia operates 2 primary patrol vessels, the RV Nathaniel Mahwelili and the RV Anna Kakurukade Mugunda. These vessels are deployed on a rotational basis, with each vessel lasting approximately 25 days in the area. Each mission includes fishery inspectors, and where available, enforcement officers are also allowed to board the vessel. Their responsibility include boarding and inspecting Namibian and foreign vessels for compliance. Surveillance missions are informed by real-time intelligence from our FMC and our other MSC tools. In 2025, increased activity near the border led to extended deployment in that area. With respect to question 4, honorable members, honorable Speaker, several operational and legal challenges have hindered the successful apprehension of suspected IUU vessels. There are challenges with respect to jurisdictional limitations, which some vessels do evade capture by fleeing immediately when they are detected into the Angolan waters. Some vessels often also switch off their automatic identification system or obscure the identification marks, making positive identification and prosecution difficult. In cases where vessels are identified but escape, the ministry reports such incidents to Angolan authority, who may impose penalty. However, we admit that follow-up actions are often inconsistent. To improve enforcement, therefore, the ministry urges the fishing industry, and we have been urging the fishing industry and the public to promptly report incidents, including detailed data, such as the vessel name, the coordinates and activities, and where possible, visual evidence. With respect to question 5, honorable members, honorable Speaker, Namibia has existing bilateral agreements with Angola and South Africa, focus on cooperation in fishery and aquaculture, which also cover combating IUU fishing activities. When vessels flying flags of convenience, such as those of Cameroon, are detected or apprehended, both the coastal flag and the state flag are notified via official channels, including the SADC base camp platform. However, honorable members, we don't have any direct bilateral agreement currently with Cameroon, and will explore possibility of having such an agreement. With respect to question number 6, honorable members, honorable chairperson, the SADC Atlantic project launched in 2022 under the SADC Monitoring, Control and Surveillance Coordination Center supports Namibia, Angola, and South Africa in curbing IUU fishing. Therefore, achievement under these projects, I can highlight the following: comprehensive risk assessment of foreign vessels seeking port access, training and capacity building for our fishery inspectors, provision of operational tools including body-worn cameras and free access to sea vision tracking system. This project has significantly enhanced our capacity to screen and monitor foreign vessels, strengthening both port and at-sea inspections. With respect to number 7, honorable Speaker, honorable members, Namibia fully adheres to Port State Measures Agreement. According to this agreement, all foreign fishing vessels must apply for port entry in advance and undergo rigorous risk assessment. And therefore, vessels who fail to meet compliance standards are denied access. This system ensures that Namibia does not serve as a safe haven for IUU vessels, thereby reinforcing national and regional fishery management. Last but not least, on question number 8, While the industry estimates suggest that annual losses of 1.5 billion Namibian dollar is lost due to illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing, and the ministry has not been able to independently verify this figure in the absence of formal assessment. By its nature, IUU fishing is unquantified and unreported, making it difficult to establish definitive economic losses. However, we are striving to find ways in which we can quantify the real losses due to illegal fishing. We therefore encourage the industry to share methodology used to derive these estimates, which may assist us in developing future monitoring and assessment systems. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we remain committed to safeguarding our maritime and marine resources through active surveillance, regional cooperation, and continuous improvement of enforcement mechanisms. While significant strides have been made, we acknowledge that gaps still exist, and we remain open to collaboration with all stakeholders to combat this scourge of illegal fishing. With this, Honorable Speaker, I thank you and I thank the Honorable Priest. Thank you.
It's properly managed. I will ask 7:45, Honorable Ngarusev, since he stands in for the front line, to adjourn the House until Tuesday 2:30. You stand in for the PM and you are in the first line. Hello.
Yeah, thank you. I have been asked to attend the House until Tuesday, 14:30.
Yeah.
And I so complied with the request.
Thank you very much. The House